So this is how I generally cut my tree cookies. I start out with a log, generally 8 to 10 feet long, and I'll measure. My mill will only go up 36 inches, so generally I measure about 30 inches on the log, and I'll cut it with a chainsaw. I'll take 2 sections of this log here. Cut this pine board a couple years ago. It's about 1 3/4 inches by about 12 inches wide, and it works really good. I clamp it on the mill, and then I'll take my drill and I'll run a few screws into the side of that log that we have standing up there. It works really well. It's pretty simple. It doesn't take a lot of time to set up. So let's go clamp this thing on the mill and see if we can't make a little bit of sawdust. Now I can clamp this down on the mill. Raise my dogs a little bit if I need to, but they're not all the way up in my way or anything that way. Typically raise them just a dab. This board's got a little bit of a cup in it. For years it's been nailed to the wall over here. Clamp that down. Then I'll use the skid steer and set both of these up on there and put 2 screws on the outside of them. The blade rotates this direction, so it doesn't really need screws on the back side because it's being pulled that direction anyway. We'll get a couple screws put in these, and then we'll come back tomorrow and I'll show you the process of actually cutting them. We're losing daylight here, so it'll be a little more advantageous to come back tomorrow when we have a little more light. All right, so I'm back here the next day. I got the hard part out of the way yesterday. Measured these things. This should be about 30. I think that will probably be about 32 inches tall. I already got them secured to the jig here. Got the board clamped to the mill, and we'll go ahead and get started sawing there. Notice the log in the back here, it's going to start vibrating a little bit. I generally put my hand up kind of behind the blade there to sturdy that a bit. Probably the better fix would be to use a thicker board to screw these things to. Also, you'll notice as the log gets shorter, it doesn't vibrate nearly as badly. It gets a lot more stable. You also want to make sure that your screw is sunk far enough that it's going to hold that log on there. That log's pretty heavy, and there's a lot of force being exerted on the top of it, so make sure that that leverage is not going to pull your piece of wood there out of the screw or vice versa. It's definitely, a bad deal, bad day if that thing comes loose and smacks your roller on the edge of your sawmill there. So just be mindful of that also. I've got to go get the chainsaw out of the truck and take care of a little knot on the side of that back log right there. I try to be very careful when I set them on there and not, let them get hung up. Set them on there so they won't get hung up on either the idle side or the drive side of the sawmill head. But, eyeballing can only do so much, so it's real handy to have chainsaw nearby. But let's be honest, when is it not handy to have a chainsaw nearby? I wished Husqvarna made a concealed carry chainsaw that you could carry 24/7. That would be awesome, but their development department has not come out with something such as just yet. But we're waiting. The average man or woman would love to have a concealed carry chainsaw that we could carry around with us all the time. So, word to the wise, Husqvarna, get on that, please. So now all there is left to do is unscrew these from the board, tack the board back up on the sawmill over there, on the sawmill shed rather, and have it there for next time. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. We'll see you next time. Until then, everybody keep it dusty.